Imagine waking up tomorrow morning with a quiet mind. Not because your problems have disappeared, but because you have finally learned how to carry them without being broken by their weight. You move through your day with a sense of calm that the people around you notice, but cannot quite explain. Difficult conversations happen, unexpected problems arrive, and those around you begin to panic, but you remain steady. You make decisions not from fear or anger, but from a place of deep inner stillness. Your relationships feel lighter. Your work feels more meaningful and clear. And at the end of each day, you rest, truly rest, without guilt, without anxiety, without that familiar heaviness that something is missing or wrong. This is not a dream saved for someone else. This is the life that becomes possible when you understand a few simple but powerful truths that the ancient Stoics quietly lived by thousands of years ago. Most people walk past these truths every single day without ever realizing what they are walking past. But once you see them clearly, everything begins to change. Here is something important to understand before we begin. Real and lasting change does not come from massive, dramatic effort. It does not come from completely reinventing yourself overnight. It comes from small, quiet shifts in the way you see yourself and the world around you. Most of us carry the belief that we need to fix everything at once: our habits, our thinking, our relationships, our daily routine. And that belief alone is exhausting before we even begin. The Stoics understood something different. They knew that peace is not something you find out in the world. It is something you build carefully inside yourself, one honest decision at a time. You do not need to become a different person. You simply need to see your life through a slightly different and clearer lens. The 4 rules we are about to walk through together are not complicated. They are practical, grounded, and quietly powerful when you actually begin to apply them. Stay with me until the end of this video, because the final rule we will cover is the one most people overlook completely, and it is often the one that quietly changes everything. I have also placed one deeper insight in the middle of this video that most people never talk about openly. If you take nothing else away from today, make sure you carry that one with you. Rule 1. Separate what is yours from what is not. The most foundational rule in all of Stoic philosophy is this: learn to separate what is within your control from what is not, and give your energy only to what is truly yours. This sounds simple, but most people quietly do the complete opposite every single day. They spend enormous mental energy on things they cannot change: other people's opinions, the unpredictability of life, how someone else chose to respond to them, and they feel exhausted and frustrated when nothing improves. Epictetus, who was once a slave with no physical freedom whatsoever, understood this more deeply than almost anyone in history. He taught that what is in our power are our choices, our reactions, and our attitude toward whatever life places in front of us. Everything outside of that belongs to the world, not to us. Think of it like a boat moving on a wide river. You cannot control the current, the wind, or the rocks hidden beneath the surface. But you can always control how you hold the oar and where you choose to direct your gaze. Most people don't realize this, but the simple act of releasing what is not yours to carry is one of the most powerful acts of self-restoration you will ever practice in your life. When you stop fighting the river and start steering your own boat with calm intention, everything around you begins to feel more manageable and clear. Rule 2. Choose your response, not your reaction. Between every difficult event and your response to it, there is a small but incredibly powerful space. Most people never notice that this space exists at all. When something goes wrong, they react immediately, with frustration, with sharp anger, with spiraling worry. And before they realize what has happened, their entire day has been completely shaped by one single moment they could not control. The Stoics called this the discipline of impulse. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his private personal journal that you have power over your mind, not over outside events, and that truly realizing this is where real and lasting strength begins. The most common mistake is believing that you must feel deeply and act immediately on whatever emotion arrives first in your mind. But here's what changes everything. Your first feeling is automatic and entirely human, but your response is always and entirely a choice that belongs only to you. Imagine someone speaks harshly to you during a meeting. The frustration rises instantly inside you. That is natural and human. But the quiet decision to let that one moment ruin your next 2 hours is yours alone to make. A Stoic does not suppress emotion or pretend it does not exist. A Stoic acknowledges what they feel with honesty, pauses briefly and deliberately, and then responds from a calmer and more grounded place. That pause, as small as a single breath, is where your real power lives every day. Rule 3. Embrace discomfort and appreciate what you have. We live in a world that constantly encourages us to avoid discomfort at all costs. Skip the hard conversation. Take the easier path every time. Distract yourself the moment things begin to feel heavy or uncertain. And while genuine rest and real joy are deeply important, the habit of always escaping difficulty creates a quiet but serious problem. It slowly weakens you from the inside without you ever noticing it happening. The Stoics believed something completely different. They believed that voluntary discomfort, choosing to face hard things before they become unavoidable, builds a kind of inner strength that nothing else in this world can provide. Seneca wrote that it is not because things are difficult that we do not dare. It is because we do not dare that things become difficult. Stop for just one moment right now and think about the one thing you have been quietly avoiding this week. That conversation you keep postponing. That habit you keep meaning to start. The discomfort you feel when you think about it is not a warning telling you to stop. It is a compass pointing directly toward your growth. And alongside this, the Stoics also practice something called negative visualization, gently imagining life without what you already have. Not to create fear, but to awaken real and deep gratitude for what already exists around you today. Your health, your mind, the people who care about you, these are never small things. Appreciate them fully before life reminds you to. Rule 4. Live as if today is enough. The Stoics spent a great deal of time quietly reflecting on mortality. Not out of darkness or fear, but out of beautiful and honest clarity about what truly matters. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself regularly that life is short, deeply uncertain, and genuinely precious, and that the only moment he truly owned was the one he was living in right now. We carry so much anxiety about the future and so much heavy weight from the past that we forget to actually be present and alive inside our own lives. We quietly tell ourselves that we will finally be happy when we get the promotion, when things settle down, when the right and perfect moment eventually arrives. But that moment rarely feels as satisfying as we imagined, because the habit of waiting patiently for life to begin carries itself forward into every single season we pass through. The Stoic practice is far simpler and far more honest than that. Live today as if it matters completely on its own, not as a stepping stone to something better waiting somewhere ahead. Do your work with genuine care and full attention. Speak to others with honesty and quiet kindness. Treat the people around you with real and consistent patience. The life you have been quietly waiting for is not somewhere ahead of you in the future. It is right here, in the small and honest way you choose to show up today, and that is always, always enough. If you have stayed with me this far, I want you to pause for just one brief moment and recognize something genuinely important. The 4 rules we have been walking through together are not complicated theories designed for philosophers. They are honest, direct, and deeply practical ideas for real everyday life. But honest and direct things are often the most quietly powerful. You do not need a perfect life to feel real peace. You simply need a different and clearer way of seeing the life you already have. Picture the version of you that has quietly absorbed these 4 Stoic rules into your daily life. This version of you does not react to everything the moment it arrives. They pause, they breathe, and they respond from a grounded and genuinely clear place. They do not waste precious energy on what they cannot control. They face discomfort with calm courage instead of quiet avoidance. They wake up each morning with a real sense of gratitude before the noise of the day begins. And they move through life with the steady and peaceful understanding that today, lived fully and honestly, is always enough. This version of you is not a fantasy. It is simply you, with 4 quiet but permanent shifts in how you carry your life. If something in this video quietly resonated with you today, I want you to leave a comment below right now with just these 3 words: I choose peace. That is not just a comment. That is a real commitment you are making to yourself. A quiet but honest reminder that you are choosing a calmer and more grounded way of living your life. And if you want to keep growing in this direction, subscribe to this channel. Every video here is created to help you build that steady and meaningful version of yourself. Peace is not something that happens to you. It is something you quietly and deliberately choose every single day.